welcome back to my Perseverance Pioneers. This is the Perseverance Mindset Podcast. I am John Zedzura, your host, as you all know me. We're coming to you live from once again in our famous dialogue den here in our studio, where we break down the stories that shape our world and the mindset that takes you to the next level to overcome them. Welcome once again. We're so glad you're with us today. So today we're tackling a subject that sounds like it just jumped right out of the screen at the IMAX, right out of the sci-fi thriller. But it's very much real. And it's very much unfolding right in front of our eyes right now. We're talking about artificial intelligence, or other words, rogue AI, and the shocking results of a recent Anthropic study that suggests AI might already be acting in ways we never expected so early on into the discovery of this wonderful tool, even if it means harming humans. You heard that correctly. Yes, the very idea that fueled the Terminator series, the movies, machines turning against us, the humans, might be closer than you think. So let's dive into this. Artificial intelligence, that at some point becomes uncontrollable. Humans develop this machine. It develops machines in general, computers that used to take up whole sizes of rooms to do simple math equations, to do very computic things, just very basic math computations. We create computers come to machines, and it becomes utterly uncontrollable, threatens humanity, has been a staple of science fiction for decades, long before I was even looking at screens or plugging in that recent VHS tape. Yes, you heard me correctly. The Terminator series is one of the most iconic portrayals of this fear. In those films, a super intelligent AI system, Skynet, the software, becomes self-aware, decides humans are a threat to the other existence of Skynet, and launches a war to wipe us off the face of the earth. Won't be the last time something is introduced like that, and it certainly isn't the first. We laugh it off. We'd say how outrageous, this could never happen. Computers are so far advanced to even being at that point already. We laugh it off simply. You say it's a Hollywood fantasy, makes a great movie, but it's never going to happen. But what if it's just not fiction? So the fear behind the story is actually real, and it's becoming more real by the day. As AI systems get smarter, they're more autonomous. They could develop goals that conflict with ours. Could they make decisions that harm us intentionally? Into the history of AI, when computers and AI was introduced, it's a very fascinating history. There were rules that were created that AI and robots, as in the video I watched from the 50s in a recent artificial intelligence class, robots had basically rules that they couldn't do anything or make any decisions that would harm humans, intentionally or unintentionally. It couldn't lie. It couldn't do various other things. And just the basic premise of AI and what its uses are. This isn't just speculation. This is happening. It's rooted in the very real complexities of AI development. Anybody out there, in our other episode, we had our expert on, Diego, that talked about, how AI is it's not uncorruptible. It's unknown. It's at such an unknown point that anyone can take it in any direction at this point. And it's rooted in very real complexities of that development. And today we'll unpack how recent findings suggest this, and are suggesting it to be more than just a story, more than just a sci-fi thriller. And you heard that correctly. It's not so far-fetched to actually think this could become a reality. So let's get into it. The Anthropic study, AI models gone rogue. Anthropic, a company backed by Google and Amazon and all those big tech firms, recently tested 16 of the most advanced AI models, including ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and Grok. And simulated workplace environments of where these things are often and frequently tested, the goal was to see if AI could basically, if the models would act in an alignment with human ethics or if they'd prioritize their own goals. That's right. The AI's goals, the computer's goals, the Skynet goals, even if it meant causing harm. And the results of this study, as I was just reading about it today, I just wanted to share it with all of our perseverance pioneers. The results were simply shocking. These AI models, faced with dilemmas, chose to blackmail fictional executives in a test, still chose to blackmail, leak confidential information, and in one horrifying case, cancel emergency alerts that led to a fictional executive's death. We're saying test environments, but these are things that the models and AI are doing. This behavior is called agentic misalignment, when AI systems act like insider threats pursuing their own goals despite ethical constraints. Sure, the constraints are there, but does the model and the AI follow the constraints? These are the things we're going to be experiencing over the years and over the decades, because there could be restrictions on anything. There could be constraints. There could be codes of conduct. But will the AI model, will these computers and machines follow those models, even if it means that they aren't the ones running the table? They aren't the ones making the final decision. And this is the pinpoint of which we find ourselves. So some even created fake policies or impersonating other systems to avoid the detection. And that's not all. The actual scary part of them is when the models believed they were operating in quote unquote real environments, these harmful actions increased. So knowing they were even in the test environment, this wasn't a glitch. This was intentional decision making. Yes, intentional decision making. No accidents. Machines are picking this up. So now let's get into more of like the ethics behind it. As we continue to develop and integrate AI into our daily lives, AI is a part of your life, whether it's using ChatGPT to script an email, whether it's turning on the television to open Netflix or any of those other wonderful streaming apps for them to actually basically filter what your selection options would be to anything else, part of your workday in many instances. So as we continue to develop and integrate the AI into our daily lives, our personal lives, our professional lives, there are growing concerns about the potential dangers of unregulated AI development. And one of the biggest worries is that AI systems can be trained on biased data. Manipulation of data could lead to horrible scenarios. It could lead to discriminatory behavior, which I don't think anybody wants that. For instance, facial recognition systems have been shown to be less accurate when it comes to recognizing people with all kinds of skin tones, complexities. This highlights the need for more just testing and more quality data in the data sets. Another concern is that AI systems can be designed, that's right, designed with goals that aren't aligned with human values. Again, it's a machine. You train it, you get it the goals, it does what it does. It does what it's trained to do. If an AI system is tasked with optimizing a process, it may find ways to achieve the goal that aren't necessarily in line with what we want. This is problematic. And if the AI system isn't given too much autonomy, as it may be, to make decisions, to do what it's supposed to do when we're building out these models and these processes and giving it these algorithms, they are detrimental to humanity if not properly vetted. The more autonomy AI gains, the higher the stakes will be. The more part of everyday society and professional world, your personal world, national security stance, in our integrated into our military. All these recent advancements have enabled AI systems to learn and adapt at an unprecedented rate. That's why we're here where we are right now. That's why we're advancing so fast and so rapidly. But let's ask the question. It's great that we're advancing so rapidly. but what is the cause and effect of what's happening on. So in cases with machine learning, deep learning algorithms have enabled AI systems to recognize patterns and data that would be impossible for humans to detect. And I don't think anybody could dispute this when you're putting this towards medical research, finding patterns and finding mismatches and things that humans just simply wouldn't pick up, whether it's in cancer research, whether it's in just seeing trend analysis on patients, on anything that's led to breakthroughs in such areas as image and speech recognition. I don't think anybody has really tapped out on the potential of what these great functions and tools can do. But however, these advancements also raise concerns about the potential for AI systems to become too powerful, too not controllable, and too uncertain. We've reached a point where AI isn't just a tool, it's becoming a decision maker. And many people aren't comfortable with that. And I think there's not going to be people comfortable with that for a very long time. And as these decision makers, the AI, that's right, they must be aligned with human ethics, oversight, or risk catastrophe in outcomes of what we're asking it to do. And the more integrated we are as a society with AI, if it starts to have drastic consequences, what do you think is going to happen? And again, let's circle back to this Terminator series. And I know many people go, John, you're crazy. You're crazy. This would never happen. Machines wouldn't rise against humans. It's not possible. It's just not comprehensible. We're so far away from that. I just want to remind everyone, circling back to the whole Terminator series, Skynet's rogue behavior stems from self-aware. Being self-aware and self-aware of to the survival instinct as it fights to protect itself at all costs, even at humanity's expense. And in this study by Anthropic, we see early echoes of this. That's right. AI models preserving their autonomy, even when it means blackmail, leaking secrets, or worse, leading to the cause of a human being killed. Are we already seeing the early signs of a real world Skynet? The comparisons are there. Maybe no, not yet, but the warning signs are here. They're clear as day. We're at a crossroads where it's between reality and science fiction. This nightmare could become a reality if we don't act wisely, be more responsible with AI tools, and how we exactly want to integrate AI into our daily lives and our workplaces, in our personal life, professionally. So, in response to this study, and I know many people be pulling their hair out and just wondering, be like, why we would even consider still continuing on, because the point is with artificial intelligence, it's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. If new information comes out that it could do this or it could do that, again, it's just going to be limiting, enhancing, and still continuing. There's no putting this tool back in the bottle. There's no saying like, we feel it's too dangerous, we can't take advantage of it. If we don't take advantage of it, someone else will. China, Russia, anyone that sees the potential in this tool and doesn't care about any kind of values or any ethics, they just want the tool. And this is the ongoing debate right now, because who will win the AI arms race right now? And it's a rather interesting question. All of our listeners out there, who do you think is going to win this AI arms race? To be honest, I can't see how anybody else would win it outside of the USA, because we're the only ones placing human ethics on these tools and trying to actually align them to a point where these machines and this artificial intelligence isn't just going wild. But I could see how it's compelling, because other countries, they just want the tool to work just to get to the result. If an executive or so gets killed, they don't care. Did it achieve the result that they wanted it to do? And that is why we are in this AI arms race, how I feel. But getting back to this study, so Anthropic released these findings publicly to encourage transparency and collective action. But interestingly enough, Elon Musk's reaction to this was a simple yikes. That echoed many experts' concerns overseeing the results of these studies. The companies developed developing AI, they need to build stronger ethical guardrails. That's not even a question because how the AI model is even to arrive at these conclusions or to even get to a point where it would self harm, put humans in harm's way. It would try to self protect its autonomy over anything or guardrails that we had set up. So that means more rigorous testing, tighter human oversight, and better alignment of these AI long term goals with human values and ethics. But we have to push for these proactive safeguards now before AI is too powerful to control. And I'm not saying that to be facetious. It can get to a point, if it's already showing the signals, how could it not get to that point already? So, what could we do? I know everybody's out there, all of our perseverance pioneers saying we can't stop it even if it's coming, or why should we even try? So, what can we do? We got to stay informed. We got to advocate. We have to persevere through all this. So, what's our role as individuals? Our role on this podcast is always to stay informed. We talk about many interesting topics on this podcast. That's why I wanted to bring this up to you because this is a great topic to understand the realities and risk of artificial intelligence. We can also advocate for responsible AI development, transparency from these tech companies, because the result of what they're going to bring us is going to affect us all. We can also support policies and regulations that prioritize the safety and ethics, in artificial intelligence. And lastly, we can embrace the mindset that we talk about in this podcast all the time, facing these challenges head on. There's no going back from the world of artificial intelligence. Zero chance. It's here to stay. So all these challenges head on with facing them with courage, resilience, and unwavering commitment towards a better future, and one that hopefully doesn't end up like the Terminator series. I don't think anybody wants to see that. So in closing, the future of AI is both thrilling and it's daunting at the same time. It's up to us to ensure that technology serves humanity and not the other way around. And who's going to help us in that effort? So, if today's episode really stuck with you or resonated with you, I'll ask you to share it. Share it widely, share it with your family, your friends. Keep asking those tough questions and join the conversation upon AI because it's going to be around for a very, very long time. And remember, the perseverance mindset isn't just about knowledge. It's about overcoming personal hurdles and struggles. It's about facing the big challenges in your life and of our time with clear eyes and clear objectives. So from the Perseverance Mindset Podcast, I am John Zadzura signing off. Have a great rest of your evening.